Hello, 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 hello. Here we are, British People's League, BritishPeoplesLeague.com. Yours truly, John Beattie, International Director of the British People's League. So how are you today? I'm feeling good. I hope you're feeling good. You're with us. You're tuned in. That's great. Well, those that just tune in to bitch and cry, why don't you just go somewhere else? We don't need you. We don't like you. We're here for our buddies, our friends, our patriots around the globe with our international internet lobby force, the BritishPeoplesLeague.com. Or you can reach us by email, BritishCanada at gmail.com. So, September, well, I better double check what day it is. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? September 28th, 2013. Confession to make, there's nothing really stirred the soul for today's show. I shouldn't be on when I haven't got the soul stirred up for you, our blind copy list out there in the ether of the old British stock along with our European cousins. And hey, you know what? We got to throw in old Russia as buddies these days, don't we? Wouldn't you say? I'd say that Putin's making a fool out of Obama. It's unbelievable, but here we are, BritishPeoplesLeague.com show. When decades ago we were, fighting the communist empire, and now here's the head of Russia acting more as a Westerner than that character Obama in the States. Unbelievable, but believe it or not, we've had a couple of very good nibbles from white patriots in old Russia. So that's fantastic. So we're speaking to you today. We're probably going to call today's YouTube video simply Review. We're reviewing where we are, where we're standing September 28th, 2013. Okay, on Google Analytics. Obviously, since the show started in January, we want to keep track of how we're doing. City-wise, basically city-wise, the small village areas. The small villages is our heart in every white nation. The small villages is where the real core of people lie. The cultural residity of a peoples are in their villages. But when I'm talking Google Analytics, the small villages have to be hooked into a main, could I call it, trunk line for the Google Analytics to work out. So the nearest cities is what shows up. Although, as we all know, most of the cities are multicultural madness, hellholes as a result of total confusion. And we're not blaming any one race. You just can't put everything all together in one big pot. Doesn't work. Prime Minister of Britain has said it doesn't work. A little guy in a street corner can tell you multiculturalism does not work. So what's new? So back to the Google Analytics, which we check every morning, 7 days a week, to see which cities around the globe with their trunk lines to the villages have clicked in. We find that overseas, across the pond with the motherland, Britannia, many cities. Okay, I'll just put it as simple as that. Many cities, Scotland, Wales, Britain itself. To be honest, we're not getting too many clicks from Northern Ireland, occasionally. But there are steady cities that click in on a regular basis. Bradford, where the multiculturalism is very bad. So the worse it is, the more white people are considering white flight in those cities. Bradford, Nottingham checks in. London, the capital city. Again, people who are squeezed in, they want a breath of fresh air. And we hopefully are giving you a breath of fresh air with these YouTube videos. As I've joked a couple of other shows, I'm not prepared to take pills as Rush Limbaugh must, but to come on full of vip and vigor and razzmatazz, sometimes it's hard. We don't want these videos to be raving raving session. On the other hand, we don't want you to fall asleep either. So hello especially to the friends of the British People's League. Hello especially to those on the blind list, the inner core, the corny analogy, the inner rings of Saturn. That's our blind list. Would you like to get on our blind list and get confidential internal bulletins as to what the British People's League is up to? Would you like that? We'd like you to have it too. Well, you have to click in through a friend, britishcanada@gmail.com, say hello, introduce yourself. But really, if you're going to get into our blind confidence, our blind copy list, you should come through someone, okay? Someone else that we know. And, hey, nothing subversive, nothing illegal, as we've always promoted in these shows. But with the blind list, you know, we can ricochet off each other, keep each other's spirits up. The spirits need to be uplifted all the time as we look at the multicultural madness that's going on the planet. But there's great sprints of enthusiasm come through. We still got Sarah from Oshawa with us. Click in Sarah from Oshawa. Google Sarah from Oshawa. And there's the video that you get through your BritishPeoplesLeague.com list as well, with Sarah's excellent show. And she's still out front. Her video appearance with yours truly is still the video that gets the most views, because she's a very intelligent person, and it was great having her on. She'll be back. Oh, yeah, she'll be back. Just things, you know, a fair distance away, but she will be back. And speaking of young ladies that are full of brain power and enthusiasm, we've had a recent contact from far away, from a faraway land, but yet someone who is a patriot to the white race. And that person will know who they are. As I say, glad to meet you, miss, especially with your brain power. And I have to say, folks, the women are putting the men to shame here on contacts. Females are far ahead as to contacts with the British People's League. Of course, we protect your confidence. We don't want, you know, controversy around your workplace, because the poor sheep out there don't understand. Bah, 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 bah. These videos are for our people. We want to keep our choir fine-tuned. We must keep the choir fine-tuned. Yes, we're preaching to the choir. We want our choir so fine-tuned that our song sheet hits all of our peoples. Those proud of their British roots living in America. Those proud of their British roots living in Australia, New Zealand, the Falklands, Gibraltar, you name it. And together with our European cousins, side by side, we will make a dent sooner than the multiculturals think we will. Even around the globe in the white world, conservative parties are getting voted back in, or getting in fresh. Okay, we're not a conservative party outlet on these videos. If anything, we're legal revolutionaries, revolutionary in thought. We want to go back to the good old days when British and European stock were united, were white, bright, and beautiful. Those are the days we'd like to go back to, but hey, you can't go back in history. But we can take the good old day features and have them when things are turned back. Legal revolutionaries. And frankly, that's what we feel about the blind copy list. It's a cell system. Oh, I'm sure Big Brother is peering in from somewhere, but that we'll have to accept. But at least with the blind list, we're talking to devoted people who are fighting in their own way for our British root recognition, our European root recognition. I hope you follow me on this. Now, back to the Google Analytics. Here in Canada, the base for the British People's League, the two provinces out front are, of course, the headquarters province of Ontario and Alberta. Okay, those are the two main hits, folks. Main views of the shows. The East Coast, they must be content. They still have such a huge majority of white people that they're not frustrated with multicultural madness. There are very few clicks from the East Coast of Canada. But Ontario's fantastic. The villages. And the other thing the Google Analytics show clearly is how long people stay on. Now, it doesn't identify your computer as such, but it tells which cities, how many people clicked in and viewed, for how long they stayed on. And that's the winner with yours truly. We like to see how many actually stayed on. And the average, month to month, the average staying on, viewing the videos is, and I'm being very honest here, about 10.5 minutes. Now that's the average. We're not talking, say, real good fans out there. Peterborough, Ontario, in the computer world, must be a main base for Google gathering their analytics from the villages and surrounding areas. So Central East Ontario, Peterborough, the average staying on is well over 20 minutes every single morning. So this means, of course, that people clicking in from the home base area are viewing complete videos and a wee bit more every single day. So we're pleased. This job is hard, you know. Keeping the spirits going and keeping the review going. I don't need to get into the Drudge Report until February. That's when we start doing a 5-day-a-week news broadcast as to our views, the white patriot views on the news. And as said in the last broadcast, we're going to call it Dinosaur News. Well, at that time, I'll be stirred up by the headlines. That's February. But at this stage, we're still talking to the choir. And it's really hard in some ways. We don't want to identify people. I'll take the heat. I'm on the front line. And that's February when we start officially asking for support. We have to set up a banking situation and so on. And we're not doing that till February. We want all the groundwork laid. And then, you know, we might ask for a $20 bill here and there, but not till February. Right now, we've just got to keep the choir tuned in, that Beattie is alive, and yes, I take the heat. Everyone out there is protected, that no one needs to know you associate. Of course we know, as legal as can be, I'm on a main street in a village in Ontario, talking to you publicly on YouTube. But just the same, multiculturalism is in all workplaces, and we don't want people to take the heat. Now, Sarah gets full credit. Sarah from Oshawa. She's publicly identifying herself. Okay, true, we're not giving the last name. But the irony is, she's had a few friends come up to her in Oshawa, recognized her from the videos. Oh yes, that's another key spot. Not just Peterborough, and I'm not just tying it in with Sarah, who did so very well on her first video. Oshawa, well, there's been a loss of the assembly line jobs with old General Motors. And I've been through Oshawa a few times, and the street people are numbering. That's sad. Young people are numbering. I don't know why it shows up in Oshawa. Yes, in Peterborough as well. So those areas where there's a bit more turmoil, so there's more interest shown in these videos. I should give you a little explanation as to the shirt that I'm wearing here. You'll see on the left shoulder, good old Union Jack stripes, kind of corny, but fashion wear Beattie. No, there's a very dramatic history to this shirt, to the very shirt I am wearing here. It's a bit cooler today, that's why I've got the vest on. I don't put the heat on in the house when I'm on my own, folks. The shirt. You want to know about the shirt? Click into the homepage, British People's League, BritishPeoplesLeague.com. Scroll way down to the very, very, very bottom. Okay? You'll see the headline, Canada's Secret Civil War. There's a forward to the book that we're still working on when we're full-time with British People's League, when I'm done my day job at the end of December. Then full-time at the British People's League, finally I'll get that book done. I've got people counting on it, and they're really disappointed that I haven't gotten it done yet. But I'm a one-focused person. Having a day job makes it awkward. But back to the shirt. You'll get the history of the shirt. These shirts were worn during some unbelievable activity in the Dominion of Canada. Started in 1978, lasting through till, I would say, the late 80s. I can't pin a date that it actually was over. The spirit of what went on is still going on, the spirit. So have a read, and you'll get the picture on these shirts. This was an officer's shirt. And then without the stripes that I've worn sometimes was the rank and file. Things did happen. Okay. Let's get on to some current news. Of course, our buddies, the British Cavalry, not the U.S. Cavalry, but the British Cavalry. So, are we getting? Yes, we are. Candor magazine, and there's so very few real magazines out there. Founded by A.K. Chesterton in 1953, and this is the September-October 2013 edition, and it's fantastic. Power punched, and we don't produce a magazine here. Ours is the vocal spoken word. Our main outlet is what you're seeing right now, YouTube videos. But it's so great with our cause, with our fellow patriots in the motherland, with Candor. And you can inquire about Candor, and as I say, the book last week, The New Unhappy Lords, candor.org.uk, candor.org.uk, Candor, CANDOUR.org.uk. And we're just so proud and pleased that we work together. They've given the British People's League and yours truly plugs, and vice versa, scratching each other's backs, as we are trying to do with those on our blind list. Okay. So, planning ahead, we still want to get a real good speaker attachment to the phone here in my office. A good speaker attachment so we can have guests on, such as Lawyer Don from California, who's so very eloquent, he's got the facts and the fingertips as to how we've been genocided, how our race is being smothered on the planet. We want Don on as a guest. He was on our audio shows a way back. But to be honest, I am no technician, and I don't see how we could have Don calling in on Skype onto YouTube. So what we have to do, we have a 1-800 line right now that's active for anyone who wants to call anytime to say hello. 1-800-431-3388. 1-800-431-3388. That number is anywhere in North America. You can call in for free. So we get this fancy speaker attachment to the phone beside me here on my right. With this speaker attachment, I've tried to get loudspeakers from Bell, but they're not loud at all. They're just enough maybe for my day job office stuff. But for the shows, we want the best. So we have to get this fancy, a bit of cost, a real good speaker attachment. So then our Lawyer Don friend can phone in as a special guest anytime. Well, actually any guest. But we are not encouraging Joe Public to phone in, and I'm sorry about that. But that's due to problems if agent provocateur and those who don't like us phone up and say nasty things that could get us in trouble with the law. No, the line will just be for guests. Okay, and the mess is still out there. We all know it. The drug scene is eating at our young. The drug scene is eating at our young. The resultant break and enters, the poor young people hooked on drugs. I say poor because they're hooked. What are you going to do when you're hooked? It takes a lot of medical treatment to get out of being thought of. So all of that crap's going on. We know why we're here. We're here to clean up the mess. But as I said, I don't want to come across as a screaming lunatic. Okay, folks, we've hit our 20-minute mark. God bless each and anyone. Yes, anyone can listen, but God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. That's the quota for September, 2 trying shows. So next time you'll see us for our 2 shows in October next month. Thank you for listening.